They say athletes have the ultimate dating pool: Hollywood stars, Instagram influencers, models, you name it. But here's the real question. Why does it seem like so many of them are drawn to adult film stars? Over the past 2 decades, sports icons from every corner have made headlines for their connections with adult entertainers. Whether it's a serious relationship or just a passing fling, the trend isn't slowing down, it's exploding. Just look at Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and Bruce Brown, all recently linked to the legendary adult star Lana Rhoades. So what's fueling this secret fascination between athletes and adult stars? Let's find out. Now, let's talk about LaMelo Ball. He was lighting up the court during his rookie season, dazzling fans, breaking ankles, proving he belonged in the NBA. But just as the spotlight burned brightest, fate hit pause. A game against the Clippers changed everything. One fall, one snap, and LaMelo's wrist was shattered. The injury sidelined him indefinitely, maybe for the entire season. A devastating blow for a player who wasn't just good. He was dominant, a near-lock for Rookie of the Year. Suddenly, that dream was slipping through his fingers. But here's where things take a twist. LaMelo didn't disappear. He wasn't sulking or hiding from the cameras. Instead, he made new headlines, and not for basketball. Recently, he went viral after being spotted at a trampoline park in Charlotte called Big Air. Wall-to-wall trampolines, laughter, chaos, fun. But it wasn't where he was that caught everyone's attention. It was who he was with. The young NBA phenom was seen hanging out with none other than adult film star Tiana Trump. Before jumping to conclusions, though, here's the setup. LaMelo and Tiana weren't alone. They were part of a larger group of friends enjoying the park. But that didn't stop the internet from exploding with rumors. Could there be something more between them? Fans have always been fascinated by LaMelo's love life, especially with his rising fame and endless options. So naturally, this sighting became an instant wildfire of speculation. And then, another twist. Tiana happens to be best friends with Brittany Renner, who, if you didn't know, is having a baby with LaMelo's teammate, PJ Washington. That connection made fans rethink everything. Maybe LaMelo wasn't on a secret date after all. Maybe he was just tagging along with PJ, Brittany, and their close circle of friends. Honestly, that theory seems the most likely. No shade to Tiana, but it's hard to picture her as LaMelo's type, or at least the type fans imagine for him. Still, anything's possible. Maybe it's just friendship, or maybe there's a spark quietly brewing behind the scenes. So what do you think? Is LaMelo Ball just having some innocent fun, or are we watching the first chapter of a brand new NBA love story unfold? One thing's for sure, LaMelo has mastered the art of keeping people talking, both on and off the court. And speaking of staying in the spotlight, let's shift to another NBA star who found an unexpected ally during one of the darkest chapters of his life: Paul George. When Paul George's leg snapped during that 2014 Team USA scrimmage, the world froze. His screams echoed through the arena. His season ended in a heartbeat, and his future seemed uncertain. But behind the headlines and hospital updates, George found support from an unlikely source: former adult film star turned fantasy sports analyst, Larsa. Once known for her dominance in a very different industry, Larsa had reinvented herself, trading cameras for commentary, scripts for stats, and fame for mentorship. But for Paul, she became something even deeper: a steady voice during chaos. Larsa didn't reach out for publicity. She reached out because she understood pain. In an interview with The Guardian, she described her role perfectly. It's a trust thing. It's a kinship. She said it wasn't just about cheering athletes on. It was about keeping them grounded when the world felt like a game they couldn't win. When you're out in New York City, it's a playground for you, she'd remind them. But on the road, you need rest. You looked sluggish last night. That balance between care and confrontation made her presence invaluable. She even mentioned George by name, revealing how long she's been in their world. "I've been doing this since before some of these athletes were born." Her role wasn't about fame, it was about family. Larsa has no children of her own, yet she calls these athletes her kids, offering guidance through the temptations of fame, the fear of injury, and the silence that follows once the cameras turn off. And when Paul George made his comeback in April 2015, Larsa was there, not online, not on air, but in person, courtside, holding a sign and cheering him on like a proud mother. It wasn't just about basketball, It was about survival. George's off-court life, however, wasn't so simple. Beyond the recovery came public scrutiny, especially over his personal relationships, including a bitter custody battle with former dancer Daniela Rajic, the mother of his daughter Olivia. They eventually found peace through co-parenting, but the scars from that storm lingered. Through it all, Lisa never left his corner. Whether George was facing injuries, headlines, or heartbreak, she was there, offering advice, perspective, and the occasional reality check. But not every NBA star handled fame's temptations quite as gracefully. Just ask Kevin Durant, whose dating life revealed one of the most awkward stories in the league. Kevin Durant, the man, the myth, the bucket machine. But when it comes to romance, let's just say his off-court game didn't go as smoothly as his jump shot. Durant and former adult film actress Lana Rhoades weren't exactly a match made in heaven. In fact, Lana herself spilled the tea, and it wasn't pretty. She described their date as painfully dull, and that's putting it kindly. According to her, Durant seemed more interested in her friends than in her, which set the tone for a night that quickly went downhill. Apparently, Durant had invited Lana to one of his playoff games. The night started fine, private suite, good energy, good vibes. But after the game, things took a turn. Durant asked Lana out for dinner, and asked one of her friends to come along, as a backup option. Yes, really. In Lana's words, we ended up leaving dinner not because of that situation, because at that point, you're already friend-zoned. The date was just boring. She added, I don't want to be mean, but me and this guy just didn't click. I asked him about his favorite things, and he said, I don't have any. He wasn't joking. Yikes. A lack of opinions and zero spark? Not exactly what Lana was looking for. She later admitted Durant was too quiet and not spicy enough for her taste. And just like that, any chance of a love story fizzled out faster than a wet firecracker. Still, fans couldn't help but wonder, was it really Kevin Durant she was talking about? She never dropped a name, but the clues were too obvious to ignore. Whether or not KD was the boring date, one thing's for sure, he's still thrilling fans on the court, even if his love life is more of a mystery. But while Durant's story burned out fast, another NBA name turned his off-court rumors into pure chaos. Enter Nate Robinson, the 5'9" powerhouse whose vertical jump made him a three-time slam dunk contest legend. Not long after media takeout claimed Robinson was romantically involved with adult film star Simone Taylor, she took to YouTube to set the record straight. Her message was simple, we're just friends. But the internet wasn't buying it, because here's the truth, rumors like these don't vanish overnight. Fans were skeptical, and honestly, who could blame them? Where there's smoke, there's usually a story. Robinson, after all, was never your typical NBA player. Despite his height, he defied gravity and expectations alike, playing for 8 different teams over 11 seasons, bringing unmatched energy and heart every time he touched the ball. On the court, he soared. Off the court, well, let's just say his name was still flying around in other conversations. Whether his bond with Simone Taylor was platonic or more, one thing's for sure, Nate Robinson knows how to keep people talking. From jaw-dropping dunks to eyebrow-raising rumors, he's always been that spark in the room. But if we're talking about headline kings, there's one man who towers above them all, literally and figuratively, Dwight Howard. According to adult film legend Mary Carey, Dwight's fame doesn't just come from his size on the court. During a TMZ interview, Mary boldly claimed Dwight Howard had the biggest one I've ever seen. Yes, she said that, with a completely straight face. When asked which athlete would thrive in her industry, she didn't hesitate to name Dwight, even calling him a human tripod. And that one comment set social media ablaze. What makes this even juicier is Dwight's image. One of the league's most openly religious players, constantly speaking about faith and morals. But even saints, as they say, can have their secrets. Back in his Orlando Magic days, whispers about a fling between Dwight and Mary Carey made their rounds. Neither ever confirmed it, but Mary's statement practically lit the internet on fire and probably sent Google's search engine into overdrive. To be fair, Dwight's personal life has always been colorful. He's fathered multiple children with different women across several cities, a fact that's long fueled his player reputation. So when Mary dropped that wild claim, it only added another bizarre layer to his already headline-heavy existence. He may not be switching careers anytime soon, but thanks to Mary's vote of confidence, Dwight's name will forever carry, let's just say, extra weight.